What's going on, Sids? What did this close at? Let me see what this closed at. Wow, GME is up almost $12. What? What a pump after hours. Car, my nightmare? Wait, when you say that, did you actually get in and it was your nightmare, or did you just watch it and it was your nightmare? What's going on, Renz? What's going on, JD? Airbnb Lottos? It's on my watch list. Well, it's not on my watch list for tonight necessarily, but I had it on my watch list yesterday, so it's still there. I'll be looking at it tomorrow. We definitely have a FOMC tomorrow, so that's gonna be a little interesting. But I definitely have a few names that are still on my watch list. But Airbnb is a follow up from yesterday, so I didn't want to repeat it on tonight's watch list. What's going on here? Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. You guys can all hear me, right? What's going on, Daniel? So, guys, let's go ahead and get started. Lost 1K on car. Halted going down. Ouch, Sids. Yikes. That's that's pretty bad. That was definitely a short squeeze. Of all short squeezes, I know that there's one person, Rue, he's actually in the server. He dropped, I don't know how much money. I think he went full port into car. He actually went into puts. I don't I didn't get a follow up on that to see exactly what he came out with, but that's gonna be pretty interesting. ATVI earnings. When are their earnings actually? Did they have earnings today? Let me see ATVI. Any action after hours? Ouch, they're down $8 after hours. They already had internal issues on ATVI, so I understand pretty much why it dropped. I know that I had a bullish TA on it before this entire drop, which kind of led to like an ER run up. So that you had an opportunity to capitalize. I actually had that all over my Twitter, and that was a pretty beautiful move that I got from the inverse head and shoulders. But I understand the drop. I mean, they've been having some internal issues with Activision, so it was a given for me. I know that Uber and Lyft also popped. Those were two beautiful ones. I was actually gonna look at Uber. That one's actually on my watch list to see some continuation on that one. We'll see exactly how that does. APPS has been a monster. I know that even though that the chart actually dropped, I mean overall chart, I see that being a recovery on APPS. I think that was a little bit overdone on that drop, but it's just because of the fact that they have ran so much and so hard. I understand the fact of more or less profit taking on that one, but their earnings were not that bad. So let's get started. Like I said, I have Uber for earnings continuations. I'll see a few that you guys want to throw out there, and I can take a look at it. But update on futures here. This is S&P that I have pulled up. Not really much of a change from yesterday night because we were pretty much in the middle of this pack of this ascending, broadening wedge that we have. We had that drop into the from yesterday in the morning. We got a little bit of a push, and then going into tonight, we pretty much got a pump ahead of the Feds. And so we got a little bit of a pop, but then we got some sideways action, which kind of led to that little bit of a downtrend going into the after hours before we just pretty much just consolidated into the close. All right. But what I'm going to be looking for is I still want to see how we react to this fib of 46.28. Maybe we can end up getting a push into the morning hours here and we can test up to that fib. And if you guys are not aware, we do have the FOMC announcement tomorrow at 12 Eastern. I definitely recommend, as far as a follow-up note for knowing about news, definitely check out Sig's updates because he always has news updates, especially after hours, after market closes. And that's exactly how I knew exactly what time it was. I get so caught up on TA that I don't end up checking on news, so I usually give Sig's news updates a glance. So that way I know what's coming out, what to really expect, because I get so caught up with TA all the time. I don't think on a broader perspective, pretty much what events are happening and what time they're happening. So that's something that you definitely want to keep an eye on. But like I said, we're likely going to get up to this fib of 46.28 on S&P futures, and then FOMC will really determine whether we're going to trend towards the resistance of this wedge or we're going to fall down towards support. And so that's really just a deciding factor. It's not necessarily going to be TA, if I want to say, involved in this. It's really going to be what they're going to say. and how the market's going to take that news. So it's a really a toss up in the air. As you see, we're pretty much right dead center of the wedge right now. So we can either go up or we can go down. It's literally a flip of a coin right now based upon what they say. So that's S&P futures. But again, the fib I'm looking to really react to in the morning before that news is to see if we can get up to 46.28, which is only a few points away here. So it's likely that we get there in the morning and we tether right around that fib until the news comes out. Right. As far as Nasdaq, a little bit of a different scenario here. Looks like we're at resistance of what I had as an ascending channel. And that's a little bit more interesting because it doesn't seem that we have much room to the upside per se going into tomorrow. We can get as far as about 15,980 to hit that resistance yet again. But I think the deciding factor, if we end up breaking above this channel, again, is going to be that determination from FOMC, or you really have a long way down towards support of this channel. So that's something that I think the downside risk is a lot more impacting than the upside risk here, in which we could easily break the resistance. But that downfall that we could potentially have, that's a far fall all the way down here to that fib in which you're looking at 15,708 falling down there. So that's something to keep in mind as we're at resistance. So I expect tomorrow morning, I expect a little bit of a flat to green open. We're likely going to see all those meme stocks continue into the morning hours. As we saw, GME is actually up like $11 and change to close after hours, which is insane. And I'm actually wondering if Avery actually swung GameStop because I know that he was talking about it for most of the day. I'll find out about that because if he did, he's pretty much swimming in profits right now. That was a beautiful move after hours. So I expect the meme stocks to run tomorrow morning, which is not going to give too much leeway for all the tech stocks to really push. So that kind of makes sense of why we're near resistance on Nasdaq. But then as the market opens, I expect a little bit of teetering, a little bit towards that resistance level, in which that'll give a little bit of a push to certain names in the tech sector. And then we'll await the news around 12 p.m. Eastern. All right. So that's as far as Nasdaq. Now getting into a few names, and of course, the first one that comes up is GameStop. So I do have a nice little wedge here. I'll be watching this one. I didn't get into it today yet. What I really wanted to wait for is really the big exponential move. If we get over 227, which is really going to be the resistance of this wedge that I have drawn out, that's when I think the party really starts for GameStop. Easily, we can end up getting to that 227 level, and then we can end up rejecting it. It comes right back down. So I don't want to get caught there because this tends to pump and it pumps hard. Like we see it's up $11 after hours. We can easily see it's at 227 and then end up coming right back down. So I'm waiting for that 227 break on this resistance, and then I will likely join the party to have some FOMO of myself in this party. All right. So I'll keep an eye on that one. 227 again is the mental number. That's when I want to see break on GameStop going into the morning hours here, and I will keep an eye on that one. Another one that I wanted to see was some relative strength that we had out of Moderna today. I do want to see if we get a continuation out of this one. We had a nice little ascending channel. It got a nice little push here today, about $11 and change. And so I want to see how this one gets a continuation. I want to look for it over 350.64. We can cross this wick as well, which is 353.28. And then we have this next wick that's about 356.77 and ultimately targeting the resistance of this channel to get a beautiful continuation on that one. So this is definitely one that I think can see more relative strength in the market, even if we see some weakness tomorrow morning. This can be a name that can definitely continue to run. So I will keep an eye out, but again, that level I do want to see it. Make sure that it gets over tomorrow. It's going to be 350.64, and I want it to hold that level. So I will keep an eye on that one. Another name that can see a little bit of continuation going into tomorrow, and this is pretty much a little bit of an older name that I had on my Twitter, and this is way back when we were actually breaking the neckline on this inverse head and shoulders. Now I'm looking for a little bit more of a continuation on this one. I want to see it break over 283.60, and we can get a beautiful continuation over this recent high of 288.50, and that'll definitely be setting us up towards opening range here for this high that we had recently. Opening range up to about 310. So that'll definitely give us a nice push here, a nice rounding bottom. I want to see on a larger scale. But I want to see a break over 283.60, and that'll definitely be one in which I can see beautiful continuation on DocU. out of this inverse head and shoulders that's already in breakout mode. One name, and this is actually probably going to be my favorite one tomorrow that I really want to look at, is going to be AFRM. And the reason why is because shorts have been trying to get after this one. And by shorts, I mean also by myself because I've attempted to short this one. And it hasn't necessarily worked out in terms of a bagger. I've pretty much been able to only scalp it. Because as you've seen, they can't hold it under 150 on AFRM. And so what I want to see now is I want to see us break over 160, and I'm looking for my fib of 174 on this one. I did see a lot of flow that came in today on AFRM. They're targeting 175, 180 level going into next week. So it could potentially end up paying out earlier than next week, but I do want to see it get over that 160 level here, and that'll definitely be one that could push. I will likely get calls out to for next week. Of course, that's all contingent upon FOMC too, because if FOMC really just screws the market, then you can cancel any swing play that there is for the upside. But this is one that if the market pretty much goes as planned and we hold up, then this will be one that I want to look for over 160 and potentially a swing play. So, I mean, granted that the shorts cannot hold it under 150. They tried multiple times here, as you see, 3 times, and they cannot hold it under. I want to see this get over 160, and then we could potentially see that upside of 175 to 180 as buyers are stepping in. So that's one that's really at the top of my watch list there tomorrow. Another meme name, AMC. Everyone's familiar with this one. I want to see this one get over 42 tomorrow. It's likely going to happen in the morning hours if it didn't already happen after hours. So I want to see this one hold 42 here, and that'll definitely break this downtrend that we have. And then a few levels that I'm watching here. I want to see this get over 44.40. Then next level I'm watching is 46. And ultimately that recent high I want to get over is 53. So those are the levels that I'm really watching here on AMC. Of course, that's going to run. If GME is already pushing, then we're likely going to see AMC also push here. And let me actually see. And yeah, it's up 240 after hours to close. So we're at 41.19. So only a few more cents, and we're going to see this pop over that 42 level to break this downtrend that it's been in. And then that will get really interesting along with GME. So keep that one on watch. If you see GME start to run again too, I mean, it's pretty much pick your poison. Would you rather be in AMC or would you rather be in Gamestop? Because they're pretty much going to run together. Zoom is another one here that I was watching. I actually tried to get in here today. This kind of got away from me just a little bit. If I pull it up on the 30-minute, I think it looks a little bit better here. But you do have an inverse head and shoulders action that's going on here. I do want to see it break over this neckline. So over that level of 284, then Zoom will get interesting tomorrow. And we could potentially pay this up to 290 level. And so that'll be about a $6 upside that you're looking at once it breaks the neckline on Zoom. So 284 is really the key level I'm watching on Zoom. And we could potentially get a nice $6 move out of that one fairly easily. The next one I have, this one's a little bit of a low-key name. I haven't looked at this name in quite a while, but I thought since all the memes are running, this makes sense to really just be on the watch tomorrow, was Space. If we remember a while back, it got murdered after it had that news, and it just crash landed all the way down below that 20 mark. So it's back on my radar here. We have a nice falling wedge action that I want to see. I want to see it get over 2060 tomorrow. If we get over 2060, then we're going to break that falling wedge. And this one will definitely get interesting here along with all the meme stocks that are going around. That's going to be up tomorrow. So just want to keep on the radar. If, for whatever reason, the FOMO goes around, the buyers start stepping in different names, this is one to keep on the radar here. Because again, you also have a really fat gap right here from 21 up to 23. Well, I want to say 24 rather. It's about 23.82 that it completes. 23.85 it completes. So that's about a $3 gap that you're looking to potentially fill here if you get over that 2060 mark. That's something to keep it on watch here because that can definitely be. I want to say it's going to end up being a pump and dump, so be very careful with these, especially in general with all the meme stocks. You can potentially see pump and dumps. So I will warn you, you definitely want to be careful with that. Try to be in early if you want to get in any of these names, but be out before you end up being the bag holder. That's definitely what I will say for you. Just on that side note as a caution, alright? Two other names real quick. SC is another one that's on my radar here. SE actually stood out only because of the fact that, and I believe I actually had this on my watch list, I think like the other night that I had, maybe on Friday or yesterday. But we had a nice little ascending channel that we had, or descending channel. We broke out, we ended up retesting support level. We built a nice little base there. We ended up breaking out. We had a little bit of a resistance level. That was also prior support. If you see this little level right here that we ended up breaking down with a massive kill candle. And now we also have a ascending, ascending triangle that we have. So I want to say get over 361.15 to break the ascending triangle. We get over 361.15, then we're opening range up to 372 for that recent high. So this is one I will definitely keep on watch. This definitely is. This one really runs. I'm just hoping it doesn't gap up tomorrow necessarily. I would rather see it open up flat and get a nice push right over that 361, and I can play it up to that recent high of 372. Otherwise, I may look for some kind of dip, some kind of pattern setup, and then I can play that uptrend, which will be about potentially, if we're looking at 372, then we're looking at about $12 upside from current levels. So that'll be a nice move that I can also watch tomorrow. And then just the last one, like I said, I had a earnings continuation I was going to be on watch. This, I believe, was a falling wedge, if I remember that I charted. Yeah, it's a falling wedge action that I had. So this one, we actually had it up quite a bit after hours. We had it around that 44 mark, 44, close enough to 45. And I want to see get over 47. Over 47, then we'll see it break the resistance. And we can open up range up to 50, in which that may potentially be a multi-day run. So that's one that I would like here. If we can end up getting, this has been such a downtrend, it would be beautiful to see us actually get a reversal and potentially be a multi-day mover, in which this will be a nice swing play for you guys. So that's just pretty much the final one that I had. But I'll look at two or three tickers from you guys, and then we will call it a night so we can all get some rest here. Someone mentioned, do I think Zillio's a buy? Let me see Zillio. Zilio is not a buy right now. Where did it actually close after hours, actually? Let me see what level it actually hit. Anyone remember what level Zilio actually closed at? Let me see real quick. It closed at 76.26. Wow, that crash landed. Oof. Alright, so I might have to open that up to the daily. So 76.26. Now I can already get rid of the wedge. 76.26. We're right around this level right here. So no, I don't think that Zillow is really a long-term play just yet. I think we can open up range down here, in which this was prior resistance. You're gonna open up range down here, in which you can see this potentially test 66.80, and then that'll be a long play to pretty much go long. 66.83 will be that level of what you want to watch, because you're not far off. That's only another $10 move to the downside. Robot voice. How do I sound now? Robot voice again? Alright, I don't think I sound like a robot anymore, but I'm sure one of you will let me know if I do. But again, 66.80, that would be the level that I'm watching here. That was prior resistance. And that's when I would look to go long on Zillow. That was really a crash landing. That was not a beautiful move. I know that Tom was actually, we had a beautiful falling wedge here, as you saw, and it popped, it broke out, it tried to get over that 100 mark, and it just could not hold that level. That would have been a beautiful continuation if we got back over 100. But now that it's broken down, it's not looking too hot. So just wait it out, let it settle down, look for that 66.80 level, and that'll be the level where I say dip your toes in to go long, and then potentially add once it breaks over that 70 level. All right. So that's Zillow. Let me take a look at two more for you guys. I saw someone mentioned Izzy. You weren't gonna say anything. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here. I appreciate that. All right, I saw someone mention. All right, so someone mentioned Pfizer. I'll take a look at Pfizer real quick. Looks like I actually had Pfizer charted up previously. All right, so I'll get rid of whatever I had on Pfizer there. But this is one that it's a nice little bottom that formation that it formed there. A beautiful bottom formation. Let's see our next level of resistance that we're looking at. So next level of resistance that I'm looking at for Pfizer is going to be right around this level here. So we're looking at 46.75. That will be my next level of resistance that we're seeing. And so it looks like we're actually right testing support level right now. You see my support level is right around here. So that's why we see that little pullback here. So we can see that it extend a little bit further down, right down to that 45 level. We can see that stretch down before we get that reversal to get some more further upside here near that 46.80 level. That'll be your next target that you're watching. And then potentially above that, then you're watching 47.50. So Pfizer is a beautiful one. You just have to be a little bit more patient with this one. This is a little bit more of a slower mover. So I want to say this is more of a swing play necessarily than day trading. So if you're going out on this one, go out about a week or two and then potentially swing it, but look for it on the support level. So if you're looking to really swing this one, then you're looking to get an entry near between $44.90 to $45. That will be your entry point on Pfizer. All right. And then you go long on that one. So that's Pfizer. Let me see another one real quick. You guys called out. Let's see. I mean, football was already a play by Avery today, so that one you already pretty much saw. CVS. Wow, no, I'm not looking at CVS. I mean, for that, I think Tom can really drop you a ticker, and they also have earnings tomorrow morning. Really don't think that's necessary. Yeah, he has an amazing chart on CVS, but I mean, it's not gonna do anything tomorrow for earnings. So unless you really have earnings charted out, I mean, that chart for CVS is not going to help anything. But I will say that my overall target on CVS is $100. I think Tom pretty much agrees with that. So $100 is the level that we're watching. But again, that's just a matter of earnings. Is it really going to play into our favor, or are they really going to hold it back on earnings in which they say something that the market doesn't like, or the earnings pretty much just wet the bed? That's really what we're watching as far as that. But looking into AMD, I'm really looking for a long-term resistance level. That's really pretty much what I'm trying to detect now. And at this point, your upside to me looks like it's right near 133. That's the potential upside. If you're beyond breaking 133, I know that my ballpark target was 135, but 133 is really my overall target that I had on AMD here. So I will look for a little bit more upside up to 133. You have about a few dollars more, so give or take about $5 and change more that you're looking for upside on AMD before you get that next pullback on that one. So that will be what I'm looking at for AMD. It will be 133 over the break of the resistance. Then you're looking at potentially 135 as a ballpark target. All right, the last one is Twilio. That'll be the last one I probably look at. And it looks like I also had this one charted out also. Interesting. All right, so I'll extend this one. This one had a little bit of a descending channel. Let me just extend it out. And let me change the color on this real quick. Make that a little different. All right, so it looks like we actually had a defined level of support. That was a good thing on Twilio. So we have a nice little defined support level. And I think I can stretch this out just a little bit more. Yeah, those wicks pretty much align right there. No, I think, yeah, the body and the wick align there. There we go. So you do have a defined level of support. The wick, the body, and again the wick. So that was a defined level of support that you're looking at. And so now you're pretty much looking at breaking a resistance. So you do have the potential for upside here. I do think that we can get a nice move. I think that earnings that was a little bit overdone. So potentially we can end up having this. I want to see it get over this level of 315. 315 looks like a really good number that it needs to break over because that was also a key level before when you saw it break out here as well. So 315 was a prior level in which we saw it continue to just make a massive run. And then that was also close enough to the prior support that we had as well back in March. So 315 is the number that I want to watch for. If we get over that 315, then that will likely push us right over to the break of this descending channel. So 315 is the ballpark number, but then you bounce right off of support level. So your key support that you're looking at is 278. That's your max pain, if you want to say, is 278 potentially at this point in time. All right. So 278 is your max pain, but you're looking for upside over 315. So I would stay clear of it right now. I wouldn't get in at this point. If it broke 315, that's when I would potentially make a play on Twilio. But for right now, you're pretty much in the middle of this descending channel in which you're waiting for the next direction move, because you can end up testing the resistance or you can come right back down to test support. So that's what you really want to think about, is do you really want to enter in this zone in which you can go either direction? There's not a clear direction yet because you're still in a defined downtrend. All right. So that's the last one that I'll wrap up with that. Again, guys, we have FOMC tomorrow at 12. So if you're looking to get any swing plays tomorrow, wait until after 12 p.m. Eastern. In the morning, again, we'll see the meme stocks likely be haywire. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see Gamestop at $40 by morning. That wouldn't even surprise me at this point. It already closed up $11 after hours. We have AMC that's up about close to $3. I'm pretty sure Bed Bath and Beyond is something that's also up probably an insane amount right now. Also, what is Bed Bath and Beyond up? Yeah, that's insanely crazy. Bed Bath and Beyond is up $11.30 to close after hours. So I expect that craziness to continue into the morning hours. Then come market open, we'll see if we get any kind of consolidation off of those morning pumps, and which that's going to allow some tech names to kind of push to get a little bit of a leeway, and until we get that FOMC announcement in which the market is either going to pump off of that news or we're just going to dump. So I don't think there's necessarily going to be an in between. So prepare yourself for that, but we'll be on live, we'll talk it out, and we'll see what market direction takes. But other than that, we're going to call it a night, guys. I'll see you guys in the morning on live, and you guys have a good night. Get some rest, and I will see you in the morning, all right? Have a good one, guys.